Welcome back to the Not Carrie Bradshaw YouTube channel. In this video, I'm recapping episodes 8 and 9. I took a little vacay, a very safe and very responsible vacay, and I missed a Sunday or two. So we're going to do episodes 8 and 9 in this video, so we'll be all caught up for Sunday's episode. So thank you for coming back and joining me. While you're here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. You may as well. We friends now. You want to be here. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. Okay, let's jump right in. We're still on the trip that just won't end. Like, it just occurred to me that once again, I'm starting another video where the girls are still on this trip. Lovely gowns. The home is beautiful, but I'm over this whole situation. So the ladies are sitting around in the wake of Wendy's very justified blow up, like, let's be clear. And Robin and Gizelle's absolute refusal to take any responsibility for why Wendy is upset continues to baffle, frustrate, and disgust me. I think they have this expectation for people to be super understanding of them, super empathetic, and respectful of them, but they do not give that to anybody. And Funky Dineva, shouts out to Funky Dineva, made a really good point. Robin or Gizelle needs to go. I want to see what either of them does without the other one there. The way that they run up behind each other, it's just like, Robin is so lame. She just has no sense of identity. And to see her defend Gizelle with more energy, with more vigor than I've seen her give to her husband is really bizarre to me. Like, that is so weird. And I don't think that it was appropriate or accurate really for Wendy to say that Robin doesn't have an actual relationship to care about. She has a relationship. It's just not one that looks romantically intimate. Her and Juan look like distant cousins, or they look like two people who grew up together, like in some sort of familial way. I'm not going to say brother and sister, but they just don't have what we know to be a very intimate relationship. And Juan just does not seem to be that into Robin. And shit, Robin don't seem to really be that into Juan. I cannot understand their situation. It's not for me to understand, whatever. But a part of me does understand what Wendy is saying, because Robin and Juan's relationship does not look fulfilling to me. For all I know, they are filling up each other's love tanks, and it's just, they have love languages that none of the rest of us see. But that is the thing. None of the rest of us, I think what Wendy is talking about is the fact that we don't see that kind of relationship and long for it, I guess. I don't know. It is a legitimate relationship. It's just not one that many of us understand. And even though one has come back around and, you know, proposed to Robin, it's still just their interaction does not look like that of two people who are romantically intimate. And I don't mean sexually. I mean an intimacy there. It's so weird watching them interact. But the fact that she has more energy for the defense of Gizelle's character than even the defense of her husband's character is very interesting to me. Ascala is catching on to the fact that while Robin is her friend, she is saying that Robin is somewhat a different person when it comes to Gizelle. She does not hold Gizelle accountable. And Ascala ends that by saying, but that's a good friend. That's not a good friend. Good friendship is you are teachable and you create a safe space for me to tell you how I feel about things. I have certain friends who can tell me the same thing and I can read it in two very different ways, just because some people create a safer space for you to be vulnerable than other people do. And because of that, we can sometimes receive tough love, hard truths better from other people. But real friendship is not rooted in blind loyalty. That's manipulation. That's a cult. That's codependency. That does not a friend make. I'm not going to help you be wrong or hurtful to somebody else. That's not friendship. The ladies get to dinner and they have to have this discussion about, Mia basically made that up. Like, Mia, you made that up. She didn't call her a weak bitch. I understand what you were getting at. I understand you're paraphrasing, but you added some extra shit that was not there. Like, let's be clear. That's not what happened. Gizelle did say, you know, we shout out to the producers for always giving us a good flashback. She did say, if you're going to crumble like this, then you can't be a part of this group. That's also not a fair thing to say, Gizelle, because maybe the onus shouldn't be on them to take your bullshit. Maybe you need to evaluate why it is that you're constantly putting bullshit on other people. But we'll get to that momentarily. Mia, yeah, I don't get that one, Mia. You lost me there. Mia is giving me very mixed signals about who she is. I started off really enjoying her. Now I'm just not so sure. The dance competition, y'all were bored. We'll leave it at that. When Robin called Juan, and in her confessional, she said that she hates waking her kids up in the morning. That gave me pause. But then again, you know, everybody is not a morning person. That doesn't have to mean that you aren't a good parent. But she said that Juan can wake them up without even going into the room because they're just intimidated by his voice. If it's easier for Juan to wake up the kids, why don't you just make that his responsibility? I don't understand. If it's easier for him to just be like, hey, y'all get up, and they get up and get moving, then just let him do that. This refusal to let men parent their kids in these certain ways just baffles me. Who said that you have to be the one to wake them up? Are they not at a certain age where they can kind of start doing these things on their own anyway? If it's easier for one to say, y'all get y'all asses up, and they do that, then just pass that responsibility off to him. Like, come on, people. Y'all know I have my trusty notebook to keep my notes in check. Robin and the ladies go and play tennis. Tennis was really hard for me. I was decent at it when I was very young, and then I tried it with a friend in college, and I hit the ball like a baseball. Like, I like that thing. Like, it is hard. So no tea, no shade. What I do want to say is, Robin, you are not insulting anyone or taking anything away from anybody by saying, I know who won't be at my wedding or my bridal shower. Thank you. I save money on a dress. I save money on a gift. I save money on gas. I save energy on being around you. That you're not hurting anyone with that. Congrats. I don't know what you want from us on that, honey. I'm really confused about why the ladies are particularly Candace, but why is everybody putting this on Ashley as if they did not all conspire to have this conversation with Wendy about her changed behavior, her body work, her this, her that? They all conspired to have that conversation. You weren't left out. You weren't oblivious to the fact that that was happening. So why is it, oh, Ashley must have? No, this just wasn't an appropriate conversation to have, especially not in this way. So putting the blame on Ashley, which they roll over into doing in the next episode, which we'll get to, I was puzzled by that. You know, Karen did her, you know, ambassadorship thing. Congratulations on that. I don't really have much to say about that. Good for you, Nancy Pelosi, clap. So rolling over to episode 9, Ray and Karen are planning a big vow renewal. Okay. I don't see it for weddings. I just don't. Maybe I'll talk about that in a separate video. The extravagance of it, just whatever. Okay, sure. If you have the money to do it properly, go for it. And when people have financial issues in the way that Karen and Ray had those financial issues a couple seasons ago, it does give me pause to see them do a really big event like that, like a really big expensive event like that. But like, you know, if you like it, I love it. I just want to say, Karen, none of the dresses you tried on looked like they were going to make it easier for you to dance in and then slip out of when you get to the honeymoon suite. A jumpsuit, perhaps. But if you already have a very constricting dress, why are you looking at additional? Because I didn't get it. If you just want 2 dresses, just say you want 2 dresses. It's fine. I want 2 dresses. I'm not getting married. I want several dresses. Send them my way. Just because, but just say that. You don't need that for that purpose because they're not serving that purpose. Sorry. But I thought that it was lovely that Wendy and Mia came along to support. Cool to see those 2 getting along. Awesome, whatever. And Mia lets them know that they are not invited to Robin's birthday gathering. Boo-hoo. No one cares. Wendy and Eddie have a post. What was the name of this place? Was it Williamsburg? Am I just thinking about Brooklyn? Whatever the name of that trip was that would not end. Post-trip convo where Eddie expresses his disappointment at having been brought into Housewives drama. And he says, we shared our story with them and we fought so hard just to be married. Nobody's going to go through all that just to be out in the streets moving crazy. Eddie, that's a bit naive. A lot of people go through a lot of shit to marry a person, to be in partnership with a person, and that person will still go out and move real funny in the streets. I thought that it was beautiful that he thought that way, but babe, people do that all the time. It's tragic, but it happens. What is Gizelle's house? It's like Tetris. And then the door not working just gave me a flashback to when she went to Monique's house seasons ago, last season, 2, whatever, however many seasons ago. And she had so much to say about Monique's house. Your sliding door don't even work, babe. We couldn't get that fixed before filming. She couldn't find another point of entrance. Okay. For somebody just who has so much critique for other people, there are so many openings to judge her. And I just don't get, it's like, I'm really bad at math, right? Math made sense to me around college. And I was like, oh, this is how this works, right? So what I would never do is make fun of somebody who it's maybe taking them a while to calculate like tip and total, right? Because I'm terrible at math. So why can't Gizelle apply that same principle? Why do you have so much smoke for people in areas where you don't excel? Okay, so I don't care about this podcast, but this podcast and the subsequent confessional revealed quite a bit. Am I tuning into a podcast to listen to these 2 women discuss anything? Hell no. They both discussed how infidelity impacted them, right? Robin tells us what we all knew, which is that Juan cheated on her in their marriage, cheated when she was pregnant and, but they moved past it. And Gizelle expressed a sentiment that I myself am cautious of expressing, but I do think that there is a difference between you cheated and you are a cheater. You cheated is sometimes shit happens, and maybe this is something that we can work through if you still want to be in a committed relationship to me. A cheater is a person who does not need to be married unless they're in a polyamorous situation, which requires much more emotional maturity and much more communication than I think people realize. I think when people hear polyamory, they're just like, oh, it's a free-for-all. No, even having a monogamish relationship still requires more communication and openness and vulnerability than I think some people are capable of having, particularly people who just want to cheat. So I can understand that. What I found really revealing, though, is that whenever somebody asks Gizelle about Jamal, she gets so flustered. It makes her so uncomfortable. First of all, I was joking. Because, she makes this comment about somebody should have told me that 2 years ago about the statistics about if a man cheats once, he'll cheat again. That man cheated, according to you, over and over again in your relationship. So why did you think that things would be better 2 years later? And then when producers asked you about that in your confessional, you got very flustered. And then we watched this juxtaposition of you discussing this situation on the podcast and then you discussing it in your confessional. And what she said made so much sense and tapped back into what Karen said a while ago. If you're with a man for a certain amount of time, that man gonna cheat. That is what you believe. That is absolutely what you believe because of the trauma that you have endured. And because, to be honest, the world reinforces that belief, right? I have been raised around people who have that sentiment. So many of my guy friends who I, held very close to my heart were just like, no matter what, a man is going to cheat on you. And I really believed that for a very long time. What I think happens is that our world can get really small and you can start to believe that the way you believe is the way that everyone believes. The way that you live is the way that everyone lives. That's what it means to be in a bubble. And if you don't expand your world, expand your circle, it can be really easy to fall back into the beliefs that your trauma told you. Gizelle's trauma of her marriage to Jamal told her that no matter what you do, a man will cheat on you. That is why she harps on Candace's marriage. She harped on the possibility that Eddie is cheating on Wendy. She goes down the line and has all this criticism and advice for people because of her own trauma speaking through her all the time. She projects so much of her trauma onto other people's marriages, relationships, whatever, because like Karen said, she will not allow herself to be vulnerable. Now, all things being held constant, this is a show. I hope Gizelle is vulnerable somewhere. I hope somewhere she is laying down that burden and being honest about her pain. If she would, like Karen said, just admit and have a moment of vulnerability, people would actually give her the support that she needs. But instead, you deflect, you project to try to take everything off of you because you can't see anything beyond your own experience. And so you deflect. And, I think he riding your coattails. That's your trauma. And when the other ladies go back and discuss these things with their partners about what Gizelle thinks about their relationships, everyone says the same thing. She has been so hurt that she can't even see that that's not what everyone's experience is. That is incredibly sad. And a part of me is really over. What I do want to say, just to give Gizelle some credit, what's interesting about her doing all of this judgment, advice giving, whatever, with everyone else's relationships is the irony that she has not had a successful relationship herself. And like I said, her previous traumas that are still leading her. But what I don't want to keep doing is holding her responsible or making it a punchline all the time, what Jamal did. I think that she carries a lot of shame for Jamal cheating on her, embarrassing her. I think she carries that shame. And I think that because of that, she struggles to empathize because I don't think that she's empathizing with her. So I don't think she's giving herself very much compassion. And so that's why she can't give other people compassion. But what I don't want her to do is continue to carry the shame of what he did to her. And I also just don't think that it's appropriate, healthy, progressive, whatever, to judge women or hold women accountable for the actions of their partners. That doesn't help anybody. These are grown men, and she can't keep a man. Maybe she had a man didn't want to be kept, So while I do understand Wendy's reads of Gizelle being, you wouldn't understand it. It made me think a lot about the Tabitha Brown and Wendy Williams situation where, listen, I think what Tabitha Brown said was very appropriate. If you have not been loved in a certain kind of way, you are mistrustful of the love that someone is showing for someone else. That's what I think is happening. But let's not make it a punchline that how Jamal treated Gizelle is somehow her fault. Those things are dated. Oh, she can't keep a man. Well, that's not really a relevant read today. There's a lot of things to read Gizelle about. You don't need to keep holding her responsible for the actions of her trash ex-husband, period. Chris and Candiace go to lunch. I really liked Chris's response to say that, you know, Candiace supported him so much. This is his time to support her. Sure, I guess. But then we fast forward to Candiace going back into same old Candiace ways, where Candiace, you just can't talk to people like that. And with everything that happened last season, did you not watch yourself? Was your self-awareness not activated? I was genuinely hoping that post the trauma of Monique pulling your hair violently, that you would come back with an activated sense of self-awareness. It's still not there. And Candiace wants to hold everyone accountable except for herself. Like, you cussing this man out, telling him to watch his attitude. What about yours? And what exactly are you upset about? You're upset that he's working to also make money? Well, how are you? You're not going to be present at this shoot. You're not going to be present at da-da-da. Well, he can't be your full-time manager when you're not paying him. And y'all do need a dual income family, right? So do you want him to quit his full-time job and just be in absolute service to you for free? Or do you want him to be able to still bring in money? You're not Beyonce. You're not Cardi B. You are not someone who is bringing in so much money. From my perspective, I could be wrong, but you're not bringing in so much money that this man can quit his job and devote himself fully to you. And that's why he said, find you somebody else who will do it for free then. Like, where is your understanding? Where is your compassion? I don't want to wish bad on anybody's marriage, of course, but like, I don't know how Chris deals. I really don't. I also found it interesting, Candiace's perception of when they did the flashback of how Ashley actually went into the kitchen, and Candiace's perception of how she went into the kitchen. Candiace thought that she was gloating about stirring the pot. Ashley, from my perspective, that's not really what happened there. I didn't get that from her saying, ooh, that did not go how I expected. I didn't think that she was relishing in that fact, but okay. Ashley's conversation with Michael post the Dr. Masseuse, baby masseuse thing. A lot of people were really uncomfortable with him harping on her body. I thought that he was actually just reassuring her that, like, I'm still attracted to you. Please don't have that kind of, I don't want that to be an insecurity. That's what I thought that he was saying. Y'all drop down in the comments and let me know. I didn't think that he was saying, like, if you had gained all this weight, I wouldn't be attracted to you. I thought that he was just trying to reassure her that, like, you look great. So there's no complaint there. That's how I read it, but I might have missed something. So slide in the comments, let me know what y'all thought about that. Mia's conversation with her mom. Even for those of us whose parents didn't suffer from substance abuse, especially when you get into therapy, you get to a place where you want to have hard conversations with your parents, or you're considering having hard conversations with your parents about the ways in which they may have failed you in your childhood. And sorry, something flying around here. That can be really hard to do when you have a sober parent, like a parent who doesn't suffer from substance abuse, because especially if you actually like your parents, it's hard to say you were not great in this area and I would like to talk about that, because you don't want to hurt their feelings. You don't want to trigger them, but it is a part of your healing to say, this is what I needed as a child that wasn't given to me, and I want to understand why. That compounded on top of the fact that Mia has a fear of triggering her mom to relapsing. You don't want to say something to her that's going to dig up something that she cannot manage without self-medicating. So I fully understood that struggle, and I hope that maybe her mom explaining those things to her about her dad maybe gave her a bit of closure. It kind of sounded like she didn't, it kind of sounded like Mia's mom didn't really fool with her because she reminded her too much of her dad. And I think it's easy for us to, like Mia said, she only wanted to remember the good parts of her dad. She didn't really want to recall the, you know, the bad times. And I think for the parent who does the right thing and sticks around and tries to, you know, raise the kid, you get the worst part of the kid. And the other parent who isn't around full time or who, you know, whatever, they only get the fun parts, you know. But I felt for her mom because she has this admiration for her dad when her dad is what it sounds like the reason why she was taken away. And I just really felt for both of them, like in that conversation. It's hard to reconcile childhood stuff and do shadow work with a parent that you like and a parent that you want to foster a relationship with. Moreover, if that parent is at risk of relapsing. So we get to Robin's birthday thing. What was everybody wearing? Why was Ashley dressed like Beetlejuice? You horizontal stripes, babe, like top and bottom. It's okay to mix a print. I'm gonna just say mix a print sometimes. When you mix prints, stripes are neutral, polka dots are neutral. Mix a print. Put a solid with a print. Don't do that though. Don't do that again. I thought Scala looked cute. Scala was cute. Scala was giving a look. I just don't get why the question is, did Ashley add more to the conversation than what was necessary? Why is it so hard for y'all to believe that y'all just hurt this woman's feelings? If you can just accept that you hurt her feelings, we can all move on. And Robin is full of shit because Robin, you know, everyone was expecting for Wendy to get an invite because they thought that, you know, when Wendy apologized. To be fair, Wendy, that wasn't a real apology. To say, I'm sorry if I made you, or I'm sorry, but that's not an apology. But there was the conversation at dinner where Wendy half-assed took responsibility for attacking Robin's relationship. But Robin is trying to say that she didn't have any issue with Wendy until Wendy made the comment about her and Juan having a fake relationship. And as an aside, Robin, that whole thing that you did, calling him and trying to make the joke of, oh, hi, my fake, and he paid your ass dust because it wasn't funny to him. It wasn't funny to anybody. Like, just lame shit all around. But anyway, you had smoke for Wendy just like Gizelle had smoke for Wendy. And it's like, I wasn't even on what Gizelle was on. Yes, you were. You were giving her the same amount of energy before she made the comment about you and Juan's relationship. You're not going to sit here and tell us that lie. We were there. We were there. Had she never even made that comment about you and Juan's relationship, you still would be on the same bullshit. Maybe it added a little bit to it for you, but you had smoke for Wendy just because she wasn't accepting of your criticisms of her. And people don't have to accept your criticisms. People do not have to gracefully accept you telling them that they ain't shit in whatever kind of way you're trying to tell them they ain't shit. Like, girl, bye. So explain to me, y'all, again, why does Candace have so much smoke for Ashley? When the body shaming came out, maybe it was a production thing and the way that they edited that scene. Maybe we missed something, but she went at Ashley off rip. Now, in her confessional, she said that when she has unresolved things with her husband, it affects her all around. So maybe she was just carrying that frustration and just let it loose on Ashley. But the stuff that she was saying to her, it was just like, is this warranted right now? And calling her wide body. Ashley's not wide. Look, I can forgive an edgy read if it makes sense, if it's good. But to say something like that about a woman who just had a baby, you have no couth, you have no social awareness, you have no self-awareness. And after what you went through last season, when are you going to learn to leave people the hell alone? When? When is it going to be enough for you? It was so uncalled for. You and your forehead and ho, you da-da-da-da-da. Like, I cannot get over the way Monique was all kind of ghetto, ratchet, trash ass bitches for fighting Candace, but this kind of behavior and this kind of language is okay. Why don't you understand the power of words? Why don't you understand that it's not okay for you to talk to people like that? I don't think I will ever understand just the total lack of self-awareness there. Like, give us a break, honey. Figure yourself out. And Ashley is messy, okay? I don't see it for Ashley at all, but I do not understand why Candace has so much smoke for her off rip. And why are you blaming her for everything that happened with Wendy as if that wasn't gonna happen anyway? I just don't get it. So anywho, I know this video is a bit long because we had to cover 2 episodes, but I just wanted to catch up. So slide in the comments, let me know what you thought about episodes 8 and 9. Feedback on, you know, my commentary, all the good things, keep it cute. And be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, send me money, send me well wishes, send me good energy. I'm sending those things back to you except for the money. So I will talk to you guys Sunday. Bye.